10 contestants face off against each other and survive in the wilderness, each allowed to bring only 10 items. They will take on this survival challenge at Chico Lake, Canada. The one who endures the longest will win a grand prize of $500,000. The boat carried the first contestant to the island. His name is Tim. After a heartfelt farewell to the crew, he suddenly couldn't contain his mix of nervousness and excitement on his first time here. Back home in Wyoming, Tim is a professional hunter, specializing in tracking and taking down large wild animals. Even massive black bears have fallen to his skills. He's also highly skilled in crafting strange and unique hunting traps. Now, with 4 children to take care of, Tim is determined to win the $500,000 prize to change his family's life. Not long after arriving, Tim discovered tracks left by a grizzly bear. Being alone in the wilderness and encountering one of these creatures would be extremely dangerous. His initial excitement quickly turned into a heavy sense of concern. The most urgent task now was to find a safe place to shelter before nightfall. The next contestant to join the show is Clay. He's on his way to find his first meal. After walking just a few hundred meters, Clay discovered a large patch of pine mushrooms, an incredibly rare and hard-to-find delicacy in the wild. Without hesitation, he gathered a whole big bag full of them. Back home in Idaho, Clay is a video creator with over 15 years of wilderness survival experience. He's skilled in crafting different types of bows and arrows, and whether it's fishing, hunting, or building a shelter, nothing is a problem for him. To give his family a better life, he specially signed up for this competition. While wandering around the forest, not far ahead, a grouse suddenly dashed across his path. Instantly, Clay raised his bow and nailed it with one perfect shot. His accuracy was truly top-notch. With ease, he secured his first lunch. He went to the riverside and plucked all the feathers, planning to make grouse and mushroom stew tonight to satisfy his cravings. As Clay was cooking dinner, a sudden noise behind him startled him. My God! A fully grown mountain lion was staring intently at Clay. Seeing this, he reached for his bow, ready to teach it a lesson. However, the animal suddenly vanished without a trace. Let's check in with Matt. The moment he set foot on land, he spotted a moose out on the lake. If he could catch one right from the start, that would be incredible. He could probably just lie back and win the whole thing. Unfortunately, the distance to the shore was just too far. Matt used to be a primitive survival instructor, teaching people how to live off the land, a job he's fully devoted himself to. For this survival challenge, Matt feels extremely confident that he can win the championship, perhaps as a way to prove his skills. He's the only contestant who didn't bring a fire starter. Determined, he grabbed a stick and began rubbing, hundreds of times. But no matter how hard he tried, there was no spark. Still, Matt refused to give up. He kept going, putting all his strength into the effort. Finally, through sheer perseverance, a small flame flickered to life. Wanting to familiarize himself with the surrounding terrain, Matt decided to take a walk around the campsite. The man you see drinking rainwater is Chico, the only true heavyweight contestant this season, quite literally. He's a famous pop singer with his own band, and when he's not performing, Chico enjoys hunting and learning wilderness skills. This competition is a golden opportunity for him to showcase his survival abilities and learn from the other participants. He's determined to take home the grand prize. While scouting the area around his campsite, Chico discovered an iron bar by the riverside. Since he didn't bring his own knife, he came up with a plan to forge a blade out of it. Though it sounds simple, the process was anything but. He spent an entire day and night tirelessly working on it. And finally, the rough shape of a blade began to emerge. Next, he'll need to find a way to polish it until it's perfectly smooth. Rose is the first female contestant to step into the wild this season. Last night, she slept under a simple shelter, but today's mission is to find a more suitable location to build her long-term camp. A gentle-natured huntress, Rose is entirely self-taught in the art of hunting. Back home, she runs a sporting goods store and an outdoor training center, often leading wilderness expeditions with friends. Even large prey like musk oxen have fallen to her skills, proving that Rose is a true warrior in the wild. After a long search, she finally found an ideal spot to set up camp. Given the extreme cold of winter in this area, she knew there was no need to build a massive structure, just one that was warm and efficient. Before long, The main framework of her new shelter was already taking shape. By the time day 3 rolled around, Tim decided to move his shelter up into the mountains for his own safety. Word has it the black bears in this area are especially aggressive, so he made the call to build a much sturdier shelter. He went with a classic slanted roof design. Once the main frame was complete, he finished it off by covering it with a waterproof tarp. With his new home ready, Tim set off in search of some much-needed protein. Spotting a grouse perched quietly on a tree branch, he didn't hesitate, picked up a rock and hurled it. Unfortunately, his aim was off and the bird got away. Not one to give up, Tim turned his attention to salmon. He quickly fashioned a metal fish hook and headed to the river to test his luck. But just as he began casting, a strong wind kicked up. He tried over 10 times, but failed to land a single catch. Disappointed but not defeated, he returned to camp to rest and regroup. Let's check in on Matt. He was surveying the terrain when, as he approached a small forest ahead, a shadow suddenly darted across his path, startling him. A massive grizzly bear was staring straight at him, growling. The sight shook him to the core. Thankfully, the bear didn't seem to have any intention of attacking. But now, Matt truly realized just how dangerous this place could be. Day 5 has arrived. Clay woke up very early. The chicken and mushroom stew he made a few days ago was long gone. So today, he planned to go fishing. 3 days ago, Clay had crafted a fishing rod with a spinning reel. His craftsmanship is truly unmatched. He stood by the lake for 2.5 hours. Not a single bite. The silence made him feel incredibly lonely. At that moment, he thought, wouldn't it be amazing to have a lover by my side right now? What about you? Do you have someone special? Finally, just as daylight broke, he caught a salmon. This catch would be enough to feed him for the next 2 days. Just as everyone was gradually getting into the rhythm, Tim ran into serious trouble. While sleeping, he suddenly felt intense chest pain. After going without food for 5 consecutive days, the pressure on his chest worsened due to a past heart condition. Doctors had previously advised him not to participate in the competition, but Tim still wanted to give it a shot in hopes of winning the prize money. However, his body could no longer handle the strain. At this point, winning the money didn't matter anymore. Getting home safely to his wife and children was the only thing that truly mattered. He made the difficult decision to call the production team and officially tap out of the game. Medical staff quickly arrived to check his condition, and with everyone's support, Tim returned home safely. What will happen next, when the hidden elements have yet to be revealed? Let's wait and see. This is the best survival show I've ever seen. 10 contestants will take part in a survival competition at Chico Lake, Canada. Here, they won't just have to face attacks from wild animals. The most crucial challenge will be enduring the loneliness of the remote wilderness. The winner will take home a grand prize of $500,000. Coulter is the 6th contestant of this season. Just one look at his bald forehead, and I can't help but think of Ed Stafford. He's planning to scout the surrounding terrain. Back in Alaska, Coulter has been teaching for 14 years, runs his own survival school, and even owns a private island. His greatest strength? Wilderness survival. He once lived alone through an entire 42-day winter. His reason for joining the competition? Simply because his mom is a devoted fan of the show. He hadn't gone far when he came across tracks left by a grizzly bear. This area is known for its high population of both large and small bears, so he'd better be careful. The contestant in front of us, with a beard longer than his hair, is named Nate. Nate served in the military for over 28 years and took part in 2 combat missions. For him, wilderness survival is the most basic skill of any soldier. Even after retiring, his passion for the wild never faded. He frequently ventures into nature alone, embracing the challenges it offers. Wanting to bring pride to his family, Nate specifically signed up for this competition. It didn't take him long to spot an animal trail, most likely left by prey. Following it might just lead to a lucky encounter. Just as he predicted, a grouse suddenly flew into view. Protein was practically knocking at his door. Not wanting to miss the chance, he grabbed his bow and fired. But sadly, the arrow only managed to pluck a single feather. Looks like he's going to bed hungry tonight. Now let's talk about Teresa, the 2nd female contestant this season. As per the rules, she starts by surveying the surrounding terrain. Back in her homeland, the United Kingdom, Teresa is an expert in the Stone Age, and she even holds a PhD in the field. She is skilled in a wide range of complex and diverse techniques, and all the tools she uses are made from stone. Her main reason for joining this show is to apply everything she's learned in the past and truly experience the harshness of nature. To avoid expending too much energy, she only needs to build a simple shelter. Afterward, Teresa heads to the river to boil herself a pot of water. As for food, she doesn't need to worry about it for now. Michelle is another female contestant of this season. To boost her protein intake, she roasted a grasshopper she had caught over the fire, then popped it into her mouth. The crispy, delicious flavor was so satisfying that Michelle couldn't stop expressing her delight with hand gestures. She spent 4 years living with indigenous people in Alaska, through which she mastered a wide range of survival skills. In addition, Michelle is also an elementary school teacher who once lived in a self-built shelter for 2.5 years. Now, with the dream of building a happy life with her husband, she is determined to win the $500,000 prize. Just as she was sitting by the lake, relaxing, a dark shadow suddenly appeared on the distant surface of the water. Looking closer, oh my goodness, it turned out to be a massive grizzly bear taking a bath. It was the first time Michelle had seen one that big. Though she tried to stay calm, fear jolted through her body. Her heart nearly stopped. She knew she had to get out of that dangerous spot as quickly as possible. The strongest contestants haven't shown up yet. Let's wait and see in the next episode. This is honestly the best survival show I've ever watched. 10 contestants will take part, and the one who wins will receive a $500,000 prize. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can catch the next episodes as soon as they're out. Have a great day, goodbye, and see you next time. Waving hand, evergreen tree, flexed biceps.